shows what they really prioritize.
Well, also a very quick draft. These players, well, the majority of them have played at such a high level for such a long time. They know what they want, they know what they need, and they are really hoping that they can book themselves a date with Ground Zero in that qualification match for the PCS. It's our second best of 3 in this upper bracket of the night. Seed number 2 and seed 3 doing battle as they have done in the past, and a chance to see, you know, where is our form going into these playoffs?
Yeah, and I think form is everything right now. They sound, I was going to say Destiny sounded extremely confident in these interviews, so I'm going to base that off of how their stream performances have been going in this recent week, and I think they feel very confident going up against the top teams right now. They must have been having, you know, extremely good performances with this roster, with the drafts they have been going for. And I'm going to say, Skimmy, the big point for this game right now is the mid lane pressure, okay? We see a Sejuani and an Alistar. If Harry is able to play, you know, forward, able to Q3 forward consistently onto the Tristana, going to be a very nice matchup for him. But if he's unable to do that, if it's always going to be that range poke into the melee champion, it's going to be very hard for him. So going to be a lot of champions going towards the mid lane for both teams. And this is going to favor Bliss in the skirmishes, but going to favor Antic if they're able to deny that.
Yeah, we spoke about how much of a important factor it was, these support roam timings as to how they can impact the other lanes, and certainly going to be true for Alador and Draku, who are probably the premier supports are getting that achieved, right? Any given moment, it's like, okay, leave these AD carries to their own devices, let them do as they please. We have got our hands tied elsewhere, and I think it's very hard to look past the strength of a Yone Sejuani in terms of their amount of CC, but in the same vein, just the raw damage of a Zyra Tristana could also catch them off guard.
Yeah, and I'm also really excited to watch Raze play this Tristana Skimming because, you know, we've only seen him on the Corki so far, but this is the champion we know him for in the bot lane, right? We've seen him play it overseas and have such a good, you know, so much success on this champion, but Antic being forced out of the bot lane already, going to be level 2 going towards the Ezreal side of the matchup. Going to be careful if this combo does land.
There it is, level 2 straight away, instant flash onto Destiny's head, hit the pulverize, go for the ignite. They needed one more auto attack. It's not going to be lethal, but they certainly set the tone with that level 2 rush.
Ooh, Raze was leaning towards bot side, but Destiny's going to be forced to recall here. The wave is going to take quite a long time to crash, so he's not going to miss out on a lot of memes, maybe 1 or 2 melee creeps, run that one back to bot lane. Double summon advantage towards Violet though, so that's that main takeaway. Aldorf does have that Hex Splash, so if there is a repeat gank onto the bot side there of Destiny, he might fall down this time.
Yeah, very dicey way to start off this one, right? All that CS going to get denied. It's going to have to be picked up here by Draku to lose double summoners in the opening few minutes. Doesn't feel good to steady those nerves. We certainly know that these players, even at the highest level, can have those jitters about them to kickstart a series. And I think, you know, whilst people might look at that as a bit of a negative emotion, I always think it's a case of that you care. Hence why you are nervous. You want that performance to be there, to back up the pundits, to, you know, show faith to your fans, and to get that slight edge boost up against some of these favourites that you've, you know, probably battled against all throughout OPL and LCO history. Both junglers then going to go and battle against one another. The passive connects. Kevin then locks and plays Foreigner. And with both flashes being burnt and with the rotation being just a fraction quicker by Bliss, it is that man in the mid lane, Harry, online with first blood, and maybe not a second kill on top.
Very, very close on the top side, but Gragas is this champ who can use that passive to sustain up a lot. And this is what I was talking about. There's going to be a lot of numbers going towards that mid lane, and, you know, with this trade happening top, Skimmy, potential dive onto Zorinus.
Well, looks inevitable. What can Zorinus do to try and outplay this one? He's got little to no mana. He burns the flash so early on, and Kevy grabs aggro. That's crucial to their success. 2 dives, 2 fantastic kills.
And I think Kevy is also another jungler who, you know, hasn't really played these majors so far, we've seen throughout the split, but has been playing, you know, the Xin Zhao's, the Vi's, the, you know, the melee junglers to really enable the skirmishing power that his team brings forward. So really nice to see that, you know, he's not conforming to the meta, but he's playing what he considers strong, works well for his team, and has been having a lot of success for this roster.
There's always an interesting discussion, right, as to do you conform to the cookie cutter meta build, or do you go full DCG and just literally drafting anything under the sun? And whilst we might not be quite at their level just yet, it is nice to see that an identity can be a case of, you know, what works for us will get the job done, and not needing to go into the AP junglers if not called upon. The Sejuani is the most played over at the PCS. It's nice to see that more and more are starting to pick it up here domestically too. So a great start, but it's not to disrupt the fact that Foreigner on the Zyra will have an exceptionally quick clear, and you can already see the evidence in the CS differences.
I do see the trade going onto bot lane, but I think when these first spaces do come through, this is going to start favoring the Bliss side a lot more, Skimmy, because we're going to see Harry with, you know, getting that first blood, being able to push out this wave thanks to the double buff sustain that he does have. He's going to find those Zerker greaves, and that's that main power spike or that main pain point that these Yone players want to be able to get to, right? The early game is not the best point for Yone, but being able to get to those tier 2 boosts means you're able to, you know, navigate the lane thanks to the move speed you have and the extra attack speed, which allows your Q to be reduced even more. Really allows this champ to be able to get through the laning phase, and Harry extending lane phase as much as possible, because at this point he's just getting free farm pretty much, right? So all Raze can really do is match that CS, and then when that first base comes through, not going to be able to pressure this lane anymore because of this first skirmish that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get the Berserker Greaves, you're already feeling pretty confident. You get Blade of the Rune King on top of that, and it's like, hang on a minute, this champion is suddenly Thanos. Too strong to take down anymore. And there is an occasion for the 2v2 of Antic to explode into life. And whilst it packs a bit of a punch, this is the nuisance, right? Fleet with the Doran Shield, a couple of minion waves go by, and all that damage is being shrugged off again.
Yeah, Raze really doesn't want to base. He wants to keep extending this lane phase as much as possible, but grubs are being pulled. Aladoric is already up here. Harry hasn't based yet, though, so I think Aladoric might be a bit overextended here, Skimmy.
Yeah, Kevin's been drawn off those grubs, and out goes the fight. Then Harry goes in for the Fate Sealed on towards Raze, who flashes into the pit, but dies during the animation. It's going to be picked up here by Aladoric, which isn't the best, but overall they're going to be happy because look what it nets them. They get the grubs, they've got the pressure and the push, and they've got themselves a phenomenal early game start.
Yeah, really unfortunate that Raze does get tagged up by that Q3 from the Yone, paired up with the Fate Sealed, and that is going to be his Fate Sealed, Skimmy. Really easy pickup for them in that skirmish there. This is the power of these champs in the early game. You do not want to be skirmishing the, you know, the Alistair, Jax, Sejuani, Yone. They're just so strong when it comes to just base stats and their base power in the early game. Really, really need to focus on scaling for the Antic side. They need to get to these item breakpoints for the Tristana, for the Zyra, because when the dive does come through for Bliss, if it is not on point, the damage will stick and it will mean lights out for them.
That's true. I mean, it does feel as if Antic are being drawn into the game plan that Team Bliss are curating here, right? Where they want to invite Chaos into the mix. They want to just constantly have a stab in the dark, see what lands, and see what they can find. And say, all right, well, we'll take that gamble with you, but ultimately, you would like to see the likes of a Kaiser, a Tristana come into their own, become strong. The same could be said for a Zyra, right? Hit that first item, better point of power where you can realistically look to start up a Baron on cue at 20 minutes. And not to say they're out of this game by any stretch of the imagination, but at this level, when these teams have had so many battles against one another, to already be down 2,000 gold is not the best start.
Yeah, absolutely not the best start at all. We're seeing pretty much 3 winning lanes for Bliss just due to the skirmishing that has been happening, minus top lane. Fire's just doing really well in his individual 1v1, even though it was him getting counterpicked. So, you know, it's a different look for the top lane. You know, we're used to seeing Zornus on the carry and Biopanther playing that tank to navigate the lane, but Bio being the one who wants to play the carry and is doing so well in recent weeks on this Jax in particular, and I think this champ is really underrated, especially into this double AD carry meta.
For sure, yeah. If it's going to be the Rumble getting denied, it almost feels like Jax is the next best answer because, you know, the counter-strike, the ability to dive and just basically laugh at any kind of damage that they do towards you. It's a bit of a burden, to say the least. But it's free time then for Kevy to go wherever he really likes. Yes, he's hunting for kills and needs to be incredibly active on the map to match that of the clear speed of the Zyra. But 3 grubs into the first dragon. Not a bad campaign for him in this playoff.
Yeah, absolutely not. And this is the power of the Sejuani. I was mentioning this is probably one of the best, you know, tank junglers or tank champions into these majors because you do not have to commit when you dive, right? You throw out the ult, it connects, someone dies. It doesn't, you know, you don't have to go in anyway. But we're seeing pressure onto Biopanther from Foreigner, and this is really nice to see. The damage does miss.
Dive is on though, and Harry's frantically boosting up the mid lane. He goes in with the ultimate to try and catch the distance. Foreigner's got the aggro on the tower. He sees him knock him up one more time, and there it is. The dive doesn't work for Antic. They're still searching Telly for their very first kill of the game, and they're not going to find it just yet.
Yeah, the body slam does not connect, which means that CC chain doesn't land onto Bio, so he's able to flash and avoid a lot of that damage that comes out there. Harry with the priority on the mid lane, thanks to, you know, the item that he has right now, and the fact that Raze base when Bliss went for that dragon, able to walk up topside and find himself another kill, and this is just going to get scarier and scarier for Antic because there's no answer for this Yone on the side lane, especially when he's not this fed.
Yeah, 2k very quickly is working its way towards 3k, and Aladoric already unleashed on the map to make sure that the tracking is there for where is this Zyra. I don't believe it's Goldham on this occasion. May have just slipped in behind enemy lines undetected. But the Sheen is already there for Violet, so his trading potential is phenomenal. You've already got the Zeeks completed by Kevy, and you've already mentioned this in the past, right? Champions like Sejuani absolutely love this as a very cheap item spike.
Yeah, this is a really nice thing about these tank junglers is they get this power spike on such a cheap item, and the fact is just, you know, you get armor and MR, you get this AoE slow. It enables their skirmishing power, which is already so good, to be even better. So it's just pretty much playing into their comp strength, really narrowing down on what they want to do, and that's going to be a flash blown by Aladork already.
Yeah, really nicely done, though, to try and get out of that fight there by Destiny. Ignite's getting not traded, but just burnt on this occasion by Aladork, and just making sure that the fight goes in their favor. Instant claims by Violet, and a flash for good measure, because that Zenith Blade was on point. So really, whilst we are yet to find a kill, these health bars in the bot lane continue to fluctuate.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because they did find a kill in the mid lane.
But it does matter now, because back to bot lane is where we go. Aladork, unfortunately, is getting caught in the grasp of that Zyra. And finally, Destiny's rewarded with a kill of his own.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't matter about that gank pressure going onto the Bliss side because the health advantage was so heavily in their favor. So the moment the foreigner had to leave, you know, Violet could walk up and you know, continue that 2v2 and be so strong. But you know, they do find the kill onto Aladork, but at the same time, Raze falls down the mid lane and 6 grubs go over to Sejuani, which is just what you do not consider in this matchup. Usually, you just think, oh, the Zyra is going to get, you know, all the camps, going to be able to get the early objectives as well because she's just so much stronger. But you know, Sejuani with these lanes in tandem is just so strong.
Yeah, look at this for a really nice gank. It's just a case of walking when hitting the passive, hitting the stun with the ult, and saying, Harry, pick up the kill. Kivy takes it in the end, and then, yeah, we pan our way back to bot lane and see what we saw before, which is allowed, actually, Destiny to go back to base and pick himself up a Shiv, which is prime time to try and match some of the tempo and control that Bliss has been able to already acquire.
Yeah, so Destiny able to find his first item, and this is going to be the point where he can get priority into the Ezreal. He still has components for that Triforce. Doesn't have the Q evolve yet, still needs that pickaxe to be able to get that one. Plus, I think a dagger to get to the E evolve as well. So really nice thing about the Shiv over the Kraken is the fact that this item gives you just more attack speed and AD. So you get to your evolve breakpoints much earlier than you would with the Kraken. And aggression onto Harry into mid lane.
This could be dicey though, because he knows he's in trouble. Oh, goes for the Fate Seal, beautifully blocked there by Raze, flashing into his path and saying, Dragku, you hit that Solar Flare.
Someone kill him.
We will win. You're worried for a second until they have enough, and in the end, Raze, rest assured, says, I've got the shutdown.
Yeah, we saw that he was trying really hard to last hit that one, but he almost let the kill get away from himself. So really nice that he does get the shutdown there. Harry does have the TP though, as he does come off cooldown, but Kevy's walking forward with the, you know, by walking down from top lane and Foreigner no flash.
He really wants to make sure that this is a kill. It is going their way, flashing on top of his head, locking him down with the assistance of the passive. And there you go, yet another kill. And it always seems to be revolving around this mid lane.
Yeah, and Kevy is this, you know, attack point for Bliss. Everywhere he goes, an objective is taken, a kill is garnered for his team, and it's just really nice play by him. And this is why Sejuani is such a scary champion and why the best teams in the world are first picking it.
Yeah, you can go for the Zyra, you can go for the Brand, but why not just be a tank and just charge at them and see what they do? And that's certainly what Team Bliss have put together on this occasion. The Jax, Sedge, the Alistair, as well as the Yone, they're all just a hive mind of see a target, go and kill that target. And then Violet gets the chill in the back and free farm as an Ezreal. It's not a bad way for them to kickstart this one. There's a rare moment, though, in which Raze can now finally match that Yone, with them both sitting on that Blade of the Rune King, and with the second dragon spawning and a Herald to boot in just under 30 seconds. I'm curious about the lane deployments now.
Yeah, it's going to be Bliss playing really hard for these objectives. That is their main goal in this game, is to stack these dragons as fast as possible and force the enemy to come and fight them wherever they are on the map. So it's either going to be the Heralds, the Dragons, or the Barons. You know, maybe we even get to Elders this game. I mean, it's been a minute since we've seen an Elder fight, so I'd really hope we get to that point. But it's all about these objectives this game for Bliss, whereas Antic, they want to buy time to be able to get to, you know, the likes of the Zhonyas on the Gragas and the Zyra. Being able to disengage the dive coming out of the enemy team is where they're going to find a lot of strength. But this is the power of the Yone Skivvy. So strong with one item.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen this evidenced by Harry? If you give him any kind of opportunity, he's going to poke you down. Even if it is that melee range mismatch, he just gets that item breakpoint and thinks, you know what, I'm strong enough now. I've got the levels behind me. I've got the cooldown reduction. And I can continue to flirt with danger, utilize that soul unbound. And Destiny says, well, if I just charge right into your face with an ultimate, what are you going to do about it? And that initially gives them this mid lane control, sends Harry back, and shows that Antic have no signs whatsoever about going for any of these objectives.
Commits the killer instinct to chunk him out a little bit, but Harry does have access to the TP. He's going to walk up to the top side, and if there's any aggression happening onto Bio on the spot side, already a hard champ to dive. with the TP coming out of Harry might mean this is not a play that Antic can really go for, but I want to see what this mid game looks like, Skimmy, because in the past we haven't really seen Antic be, you know, too aggressive as a team when it comes to the mid game. They weren't really able to access any priority, and they weren't really attacking side lanes. But I think with the class of Leona on the mid wave, they're gonna have priority over this Ezreal, and it's gonna be more response gameplay coming out of the Bliss mid lane or mid 3, and then Antic really need to bridge this, you know, what's happening in the side lane right now to Raze especially.
Well, that's true, because not only is it a potential solo kill that can be found, but then he only left to his own device with those 6 scrubs. The tower's gone. The map becomes even easier for them to find those flanking angles. In particular, for the likes of a Sejuani and a Jax to jump out of the bushes and say, surprise, surprise, I wish you... don't you wish you had a ward there to spot this, you know, gank party threat? But it's sort of been held in suspension with that 3k gold lead that Team Bliss had worked their way to achieve. And you're just wondering, at what point do they feel strong enough? Because in the past, we've had those battles between the Trinity Force and the Cracker Slayer users. Certainly feels like these 280 carries need to hit that 2-3 item point before they say, all right, Baron, it's on the menu.
I think that the Antic members are strong right now. It's just the, you know, the lack of CC that really comes to fruition for them. You know, whereas Bliss is just like, we want to fight everything we see. Antic really need to find the Leona engage or the, you know, the Stranglethorns onto a disengage coming out of Bliss. They aren't really the team who wants to go forward and, you know, easy pickups when that ult lands, Gibby.
This is pure frustration for Raze here, bullied for the 3rd time this game, and unfortunately it doesn't net them a positive elsewhere on the map, because Antic are looking to try and take down Biopanther. He just bought a crucial amount of time. It is the static shift that gets the kill confirmed, as that True Shot Barrage tags up Zoran as Harry TP's in, but just a fraction too late, having been involved in the fight topside. But Team Bliss, I think, are going to say, well, it's still worth for us because we summon the Herald, we get the tower, and we're sieging mid 2.
Yeah, we're going to see aggression onto Harry. Has the flash, but no ult. Can Dracu find this with his own flash, which he does not have, so absolutely will not find that one.
No, flashes out the Solar Slayer, prevents them finding any kind of retribution, if you will, any kind of answer back, as they're forced to respond to waves both in the top and mid. So, nice little invitation for both to get a bit of aggressive and showcase where they're at 17 minutes into this game. But Team Bliss still going to be pretty content with where the game state will be.
Cheeky little recall stop, but this is what we're talking about when it comes to this team play. We see Bliss, you know, attacking Raze on the side lane, but no one is there from Antic to help him out. We see no Zyra, no Leona, no one's looking up with him on the side lane. And in that 1v1, he is not going to have a good time. Harry TP's down to the other side of the map to, you know, cover the response play from Antic, so there is no, you know, lost for that team because they are collecting all 3 waves, and at the same time Violet left to his own devices in the mid lane finds himself that turret and is working towards those 2 items.
Farming up an absolute storm. I mean, take a quick stock check of both Violet as well as Harry. They are leaps and bounds ahead of their counterparts right now. It just means that they are target number 1. How do we get them taken down? Pretty nice soul unbound there to dodge out in that Zenith Blade and completely fought their gank attempt. But out comes the cask, knocks him back into the waiting arms of Zyra that drops the entire combo from the garden and locks him in place. But then we pan the top side, and this seems to be a common trend, Tally. It's always that trade.
It's just always that trade, and whenever these, you know, these really strong silos are left to their own devices, that's when they can take over the game, and that's another inner tower picked, or the first inner tower picked up for Bliss. Solo gold going onto this Jax, and Bai's going to work his way towards these, you know, items that make him extremely beefy and just able to create so much space for his team. So, you know, look at, you know, the items on the enemy side. There just is no response that is going to be able to be built in these, these players' inventories yet.
Yeah, certainly not able to find that get out of jail free card that they might be hoping for, because they've tried to take back the control of mid lane. 20 seconds on the 3rd dragon, which would put Bliss on a potential soul point. Nice little item spiked in for Harry to return back into the action with a shield blow now done. And with the Warmogs also for Kevy, going to be that much more of a damage threat. So a 2nd item spike for some crucial members here. What will Antic decide to do? Down very close to 4, maybe 5k gold. As they actually will just pounce upon Violet. 5 will stand up strong, get a 3-man counter strike and say, why is my 80 carry there?
Huh? Well, that's what's giving me. Well, I'm not sure what Violet was really doing there. They had the priority on the mid wave already. He decides to walk into the enemy team rather than committing to the river and regaining control of that objective. But Kevy does have flash. If this is an objective, he can, you know, go over the wall, flash out if he wants to steal that one. But it looks like this team still wants to contest because there is no cast, but there is the Stranglethorns coming there with an Aladoric flank.
Look at this Aladoric flank. Oh my god, not the blast code into the 3-man pole! And then the fate sealed there afterwards. That Aladoric is simply disgusting. Stop it. Absolutely stop it right now. And if you think you're going to get away from this team, you are sorely mistaken. Blitz run you down all day, every day. But if Antic give you a chance to just keep hitting what is ever in front of their face, they will take it over. And Ray's now trying to showcase why he is the Tristana player of Oceania. He gets himself the Quadra and then gets denied of that all-impactful Penta.
The balls on both of these teams, Skivvy, are massive. I will say that. What an engage coming out of Aladoric and Harry. You know, going into the replay, this is that blast cone flank. 3-man pulverized into that fate seal on so many members, but they're missing their Violet right now. They do not have the damage to find his members, and this is the power of the Zyra and the Gragas. You know, the Strangleborns disengage. Zora's doing, you know, I think this champion by itself carried this fight. His body slam to disengage all these melee champions and be able to create space for Raze, who just jumps into the team, recognizing there is no counter-strike, there is no headbutt pulp, there is no one ready to lock me down, and I'd have the damage to win this fight.
Huge moment to try and swing the balance of this game. We talk about the scaling discussion of a Tristana as well as a Kaiser, and you get a triple kill that early on to effectively stabilize your KDA, because you've been getting pretty much bullied in the 1v1 into the Yone, in the side lanes as well, against literally anybody. That would feel like a bit of vengeance, and that would say, all right, boys, we're back in the driving seat. Now, we also matched them with the 2-item spike.
And this is the power of the anti-comp scheme. I kept talking about how good the Blitz comp was in that skirmishing and is at engaging, but Gragas and Zyra are really good at disengaging. And, you know, Tristana and Kai'Sa have a lot of self-kill, right? So if that initial CC doesn't land and take out these members before they're able to get these rocket jumps or if the killer instincts to reposition, there is no follow-up, right? And a lot of this damage will stick from the Antic side when, you know, you have the Stranglethorn being thrown out with the AoE slow from the Rylai's and all these Thorn Spitters slowing you down, and constantly Gragas creating so much space and already doing so much damage because this is a very fed fat man in the top lane.
Yeah, this Gragas is a bit of an issue. Certainly is getting to a point of no return and becoming that 1v9 Gragas Bomber-style AP threat. And, I mean, yeah, back to the previous fight. I mean, given how AoE-centric it was with the perfect pulverize into combo, you were really just missing that bow, be it the True Shot Barrage, to then just instantly get a triple kill and to say that, you know, I guess Violet is just the best AD carry player ever. In goes Dominus then, hits a Bomber to give a very much helping hand to Violet and saying, well, thank you, we'll make a trade, we'll take you, you can take our tower. That sounds fair to us. Rage jumps away to safety. Foreigner, unfortunately, doesn't have the same luxury, and with a jungler down for 40, that's a Baron right at their feet.
Two mistakes, Gimme. Okay, number one, this is classic Antic, right? They get the lead and then they just crazy play. I think that Antic's comp does not function in the flank sense. You know, I don't think the Gragas should ever be in a position besides in front of his carries to peel. If he does go for that, you know, cask into his team as he is on the flank here, it's never going to work on Ezreal. It's never going to work on Yone. These champs are mobile, and no one to peel for his carries just means that this Yone just has so much free time, and he's going to get locked up if he is by himself tanking a tower with no one to follow up.
Yeah, it felt pretty awkward, very disjointed, and very confusing, I suppose, for Antic as well. Like, okay, well, I guess we're all in on taking this tower, and then somehow running away from this situation. But yeah, Team Bliss said, well, you've gifted us an opportunity to reclaim what was ours, and all that great work around the Dragon Pip has come unstuck now, as Bliss will pick up the Baron. And we'll get to see where they put their attention towards. Is it a case of simply going towards top lane again and opening up a potential inhibitor? Or claiming these other outers? Because bot lane in particular is hanging on, and that's exactly where Jax is going now.
More than likely, we'll see Bliss play that 2-lane style. They have a very heavy engage comp, so they want to be able to attack the members whenever they can. I do not think this is an aggression that Antic can go from the side lane, but he's a very tanky member, and he does have his teammates in his pocket.
Sidesteps the initial engage coming out of Dracu on that Leona. Ward hops away to safety in the end as the Bomber comes out and once again works against them, pushes Harry to safety as Wraith is forced to jump away. Violet is lagging behind, but even without his impact, even without his presence, Team Bliss are winning the straight 4v5. There's 2 kills with the jungle support removed and a Fate Seal to be flashed away from by Raze to ensure he's next, or rather not next, on the chopping block.
You know, Skimmy, I love watching Antic. It's frustrating, but I love watching them. They are aggressive. They will attack everywhere they go, and Aladoric does want to flank onto this turret. If they do see these members still left on the turret, he has that flash.
Ray spots it out now, but he knows, uh-oh, I've lost vision for just a second. Fog of War really is my worst enemy. And Zonis is going to jump in and say, let's get a little bit of CC, slow them down, give you the uptime to work with that Navori as well as that Blade of the Rune King. But the casualty is going to be pretty high. They lose some teammates. They're going to lose a few more towers. Destiny? And Destiny, well, that's a Yone, and that's why we love the champion.
that's really fair. You know, does go invisible, so dodges out on Eldoric, able to find him with that combo. That's why he cut the grass there. But really nice splash from Harry, finds that kill onto Destiny. Even though he did have double summons, he was caught out of the, position. It's very hard to react to sometimes. And it's just the aggression coming out of Bliss. They're always together as a team, whereas Antic split up like right now.
Yeah, they're finding it a little bit difficult to try and come together. Oh, what a denial on that blast cone. Zoranis, where are you going? Straight into my waiting arms to get the kill. There's an airball. Well, you know what? Sometimes you do get those on the big jobs. But either way, 6 turrets to 2. They've still got a Baron for another 30 seconds. And they're going to make one last attempt towards the top side.
Yeah, they have committed out their engaged ultis right now, so this might be a mistake overstaying. This could be a window for Antic to get back into the game if they do continue to siege. So, gonna see them back off. Draco going for another engage here. Kevy isn't by himself though.
Yeah, it's a case of why we engage on this one. Do we have the damage to try and answer back? And the Zenith Blade's not going to connect, but Race is going to jump right into Kevy's head. He's just going to sidestep away to safety. And then Harry keeps them interested for just a second by attacking from the top half of the map. And I mean, I hate to call it the draft, but does this almost feel like, Tally, Antic have gone all in on the laning phase. They lost it, and now it's a case of, well, how do we make our comp work?
I think that Antic are playing like they have Bliss's comp right now. If they did have this Sejuani and these melee champs, this is the kind of playstyle you want to go for. But when you have so many range champs, so many volatile champs in these team fights, you need to play together as a team, and Zoranis needs to be marking these flanks right now.
Let's see then if they can deny away yet another dragon. There it is, back-to-back Earth Drakes in their way. Mountain stats certainly going to look to add up as the damage continues to go against them. Bliss, they lock you down, they stun you in place, and they surround you as a team. There's a second. The bot lane, unfortunately for Antic, removed from the equation for another 30 seconds. And even if there is no Baron, they've done such great work of opening up the base that that's what they're going to target next.
And this is going to be a very easy inhibitor for Bliss. I do not think this will be game over just quite yet. There is still the wave clear from the Zarya and then Gragas, but this is a very hard game to come back from. You look at the inventory of Fire Panther right now, and if they do want to go for this, this is going to be a very close time because the respawn times are coming out, Skimmy.
Let's see then, would it take the Gambit with the 6 stacks with his Void Grubs? We've seen it done before, right in their face, right by the fountain. They'll take down 2 Nexus turrets, they'll expose the Nexus itself, and Harry will jump in as a 1v5 machine. Shield Bow, Wit's End, Blade of the Rune King, it's just not enough mitigation and self-sustain in the end that they'll drop their Nexus to about 25%. But a bit of indecision. Are we going? Are we disengaging? Are we running back home? And now, Bliss say, well, we've got all these deep wards. You're not escaping our grasp.
Looks like Razor's sitting in the bush. They're going to find the kill onto Violet, and Kevy without flash is also going to get run down as well by the members. This is a walk though. No red buff. Not a lot of damage coming out of Raze, and not going to be able to find this one. He's going to walk this one off Skimmy, and that's 4 kills going towards Antic, but is it enough? This is an exposed Nexus, and, a lot of players would say this is a checkmate position. Coming back from an exposed Nexus is extremely hard and one of the most rare occasions in League of Legends.
Well, you have to take a quick stock of what's up and available. No TPs. There is a ward inside their base that you would think they could TP to otherwise, but this is the confusing part for me. It feels like one end is focused on getting the kills, the other, let's take these objectives, beat the turrets, and then as they get the Nexus exposed, it's like, do we need to run? Our HP is getting quite low.
Let's call him out, Skimmy. So we see Bio, full hitting Nexus here. Where's the rest of his team? No one is helping him hit the Nexus here. Everyone else zoned off pretty much. I think this was a bit too aggressive. Usually you would say, in this position, you take the path of least resistance, right? You do not need to flip this game on that end because you will win the game after your next reset. But this is what Bliss like to do with this team comp. Foot on the pedal, never let up, full aggression.
Either way, it's entertaining, right? I mean, this is what you love.
Yeah.
It's the comedy of some of the missteps, but then the engaging element of like, well, that was quite satisfying. Look at the mechanics. This is why they are some of the best in our region. It is still going to be a 6,000 gold lead in favor of Bliss, and whilst we're unfortunately not going to get an Elder Drake anytime soon, it is going to be a case of us grouping up again, see what we can find, and cleansing out of adversity. That was a little bit dicey there for Violet. Held it for just a second, but does manage to get to safety.
I love the aggression out of a team that, it's pretty much a full pill team comp, right? Just Leona by itself is the only champ who really wants to dive in. But you look at the rest of the team comp, it's a full pill team, but they are the ones always aggressing. They always want to find the pick, and I think probably the mistake, Skimmy, they really need to deal with this, Sejuani, Yone, and Jax who are diving onto them. Especially in the side lane when Bio can have free time against Zoranis in the 1v1.
Well, this is it. He's just trying to be a bit of a menace, a bit of a distraction tactic in the bot lane to draw them down to that half of the map. Or they very sneakily just look at the Baron and say, you'll never guess what we're doing over here. I don't think Antic have, the front line, the tankiness, the bodies to get here to say, okay, they are doing the Baron, but can we even contest? Because it's just not possible.
It's a really hard one to contest. Like when they lose control of their top jungle, it's very hard to walk back in and face check when there's so many engaged tools. When Aldork is not marked, because all he has to do is find a flank, hit that that combo onto any of these members, and there's going to be TPs coming out, multiple engage angles from the Sejuani and the Yone. It's such a hard thing to deal with. I think they're much more comfortable just pushing out a side lane of priority and sitting in their base and dealing with the siege.
Well then, it's Baron number 2 in the hands of Bliss. It's an 8k gold lead now, and this is them looking to try and end the game right here and now, unless Antic have something left up their sleeve, some other trick that they can utilize to try and outplay the shenanigans of an Aladoric flashing into your face and just forcing you to go golden. Yes, Draku's dead. Foreign is the next one, as he's completely isolated from everybody else. And Bliss, in very solo queue fashion, can just run you down piece after piece. You can buffer as the rocket jumping Tristana, but the Counter-Strike reigns supreme. It's going to be an ace of all aces, and a fantastic way to close out game 1. Bliss, the favorites coming into this one, and showcasing why.
Very shaky game from both sides, I will say, Skimmy. I think that Bliss had a game plan though, whereas we look at Antic's side, they had counter picks. They didn't really have a team comp. They didn't really play to their team comp, and that was the main difference this game. Bliss constantly playing to their team strengths, skirmish, skirmish, skirmish. Find those picks, wait for engage timers, and it just really came down to finding these really nice engages, especially from Aladoric.
That's exactly true. And